Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you are across the MWR nation. Welcome to MWR's Thursday Lunch and Learn Live. Mike Randolph here, coming to you directly from MWR's New England regional office right here, just north of Boston, Massachusetts. Before we get started today, I just want to remind everyone that this session is for the education and training of our marketing directors and their guests, and is not intended for distribution to the public. We will be discussing information regarding our membership benefits and our revenue sharing plan. Please be aware that any projections or testimonials shared are for illustration purposes and are not intended to serve as guarantee results. For more information, as always, please visit mwrfinancial.com. All right, with that, it's time to get started. We need to turn things over to our host with the most today, none other than a gentleman with decades of experience in financial services and the network marketing industry. He is one of the best storytellers on earth. And if you pay attention and follow direction, he can change the trajectory of your financial life for generations to come. Please welcome the one and only MWR's managing partner, Mr. Adamo Tolson. Adamo, do me a favor, turn your camera on.
I don't have the camera on,
Focus.
but I am here. I am there.
There you are. Hang
there
on.
we are. Yes. So now you can see me.
I can see you, hear you. You look as good as you sound, and you sound marvelous.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you as always. As our vice president of MWR, you have done just a spectacular job, and we appreciate you getting us ready for today's Lunch and Learn. And I'm not going to take any more time. I just want to thank you, and I just want to tell you about a gentleman by the name of Butch Chalaya. He's one of the top business leaders and visionaries in the world today. His approach to life and success is not just theory, but it comes from real world experience that he's gained through his own ascent to the top, as well as his mentoring of others to make that same climb. He's trained over 5 million sales professionals all over the world and continues to transfer his sales and marketing strategies today to thousands more each week. But he went on to experience significant, let me get it right, significant success in financial services before transitioning to his business consulting practice. He's developed the fastest growing marketing company in North America, offering business banking technology services to small and medium-sized companies all over the United States and Canada. And he will share all the secrets that have helped businesses from startup to run up, if you will, attain levels of perpetual, notice what I said, perpetual funding with no personal guarantees. And even though he's done all of these remarkable things, he's a better human being. How do I know that? Because I've known him for over 20 years. I've seen how he interacts with his family and friends, and he is a tremendous human being. My personal friend, I appreciate that he's here, brought his talents and his company here to MWR. And let me, without further ado, introduce our I would call him, it's hard to say, our senior expert, our top expert, the expert that runs this whole thing with called MWR Fundable 360, none other than Mr. Butch Chalaya. Butch?
Adamo, good morning, sir. It's a pleasure to be with everybody this morning. I love the Santa look that you got going on.
I know.
That's probably why you referred to me as senior.
Right.
Hey, it's a thank you for that very, very flattering introduction, and I always appreciate the work that you and Mike are doing to move this needle forward. I'm just going to speak candidly for a little bit, if that's okay.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm gonna move out the way so you got it. So go on and do your thing.
So, I talk with my team almost every day. This is the most exciting time, and I'm sorry if I'm looking the other way. I got three screens and I don't know where the camera is, but know that I'm looking at you. Um, this is probably the most exciting time to be a part of the MWR community because I don't think there has ever been done, nothing's ever been done in this space quite like it, and I don't think anything will come after this. With the opportunities that you have with the leverage contracts with the precious metals and then obviously the ability to build a team around that is so powerful. What I'm going to share with everybody today is the relationship with MWR Fundable 360. A lot of you might be familiar with it. We've been around in the relationship now since April, so we're coming on 6, 7, 8 months of this relationship with MWR. I think you can now see my screen now. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. I believe I am.
Yes, we can see it. We can see it,
Perfect.
Butch.
So, Damo, if it's okay, I'm just going to blitz right through it, right? Because I'm just going to hit the high points. I want people to understand the big picture. Every time we think of something that's presented to us, sometimes we treat it to be transactional, and we think it's a one-dimensional relationship, and it really isn't. The world of funding is so diverse. It has so many moving parts. If you pay attention to the marketplace, the economy, the news, what's happening right now with government shutdowns and everything else, the impact it has hundreds, if not thousands, of moving parts that affect each and every decision we make. And this affects the economy, this affects banking, this affects provisions. So, it's important for us to understand that we don't want to treat the relationship to be transactional. There's so many opportunities that are presented, and it's about getting into the ecosystem. And once we're in, and we get educated and aware, and we get privy to secrets and techniques and strategies that have been available to the wealthy forever, and maybe kept out of reach from some of us. I know it wasn't presented to me years ago when I was starting off, because I didn't come from the pedigree. So no one knocked at my door and shared these opportunities with me. No one knocked at my door. If we were still in that same station in life as we were back then, no one would have come to us right now with precious metal opportunities and funding opportunities, because we just weren't on anyone's list that met those requirements. So what we have at MWR is so special, so unique. And what we're talking about doing is obviously giving everybody an opportunity to get educated, understand, learn the techniques, the processes, the gifts that are available for them to position themselves, right? And there is a strategy for this. And this is a concierge-driven program, which means somebody's holding your hand. But the ability is we need to know where to go and get the information as well. Concierge is available 7 to 7 every single day. We invite everybody to call in, speak to them, find out. They work for you, right? We want to make sure you take advantage of those things. Almost everyone can qualify for corporate credit. We just need to know what the rules are, and we can get those things going. And we have plenty of opportunities to find out what those rules are. There's phases that go through this, and these phases are not so much as important as getting into the ecosystem. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. And I want you to hear this. We recently ran an analysis, and we have over $1 million of corporate credit already issued to the MWR community. Over $1 million of non-personal guarantee corporate credit that's been issued to the MWR ecosystem. I want you to hear that. We've only had this relationship for about 6 months. And, we only have a sample of the community taking advantage of this right now, because they were introduced to this and they jumped right on it. That's over $1 million of unsecured non-personal guarantee funds that have been shared, that have been extended now to the MWR community. But I also want to share this with you. There's been over $500,000, an additional $1 million that have been lent out in alternative funding as well, giving people the opportunity to buy buildings, expand their business, buy equipment, grow their business, add employees. Over and above the $1 million of non-personal guarantee funding, there's been an additional $1 million worth of additional alternative funding as well. I want you to realize this. None of this was available 6 months ago, which means all of the people that have received this funding, over $1 million, they didn't know this programs exist. And now they have access to all of that, which means they're on their way to building out all of these opportunities, right? And there's a process for this. And the concierge team walks you through this process. They give you step-by-step instructions. They make sure that you succeed 100% of the time, 100% of the time, which means it works for everyone that goes through this process. Obviously, it's a guided process, which means you have to walk with us. right? We can't pull you along. We have to walk side by side. And that's what the team is designed to do. And we want to encourage everybody on this call to take advantage of learning about those options, learning about those opportunities, because here's what happens. We get through these processes and a few things happen. We get access to additional lines of credit with no personal guarantees, right? Through credit unions that are working intimately with us. An example would be the Sam's Club Business MasterCard that's working intimately with us. All of this with no personal guarantees once you've gone through certain tiers of our program. And then phase 4 is when the magic happens. But I want you to know this. We have a large population right now that have gone through the 4 phases, so they're ready to get all these access right now. But along the way, they've also learned about other opportunities that are part of our ecosystem. So remember how I started this meeting talking about how it's not transactional. It's not an exchange for just one line of credit. There is an ecosystem that opens up all of the available features. I'll give you an example. One of the leaders in MWR, one of the bigger leaders in MWR, one of the best people I've ever met, owns a couple of other entities, and he was in the process of getting some funding outside of this ecosystem that he is a part of with MWR Fundable 360, and he was about to get taken to the cleaners with an outside source, and they were giving him all kinds of unnecessary steps to go through, and personal guarantees and lines of, and personal credit information and all those things. And then he was speaking with us kind of off, just in passing. And he mentioned this because he was treating MWR Fundable 360 as a transactional relationship. He didn't realize because he was a client in the ecosystem, he had access to everything else that we offer, everything else. And there is a limitless amount of financial products that Fundable 360 has within its umbrella. So he didn't realize that. And the moment he mentioned this, we said, but wait a second, you don't need to go anywhere else. You already are a client here, which means for free, which means included in our absolute concierge service. He would have access to a no documentation, no FICO, no paperwork required funding for that property that he was looking to do to reposition with a church and a school, already included in the service. So all of a sudden he went from almost paying 15-16% somewhere else to getting it done for no cost in-house, because he was already a part of the ecosystem. So these are things that we're encouraging everybody on this call to get to understand better, right? The concierge team works for you. They are your team. They're not our team. They're your team. They work for you, and they work with you. So we wanted to get you encouraged to get a hold of them, right? They want to make sure you succeed so you can have unlimited access to funding over and over and over again. We have some exciting things happening at MWR here in the next few days, so next early few weeks. And we want to make sure that the majority of the community can take advantage of this. So we really want to get you started with this program so you can get ahead of yourself and get ahead of your finances and get ahead of your funding. And we wanted to take you advantage of that. Now, there's certainly a fee attached to this, right? Because there's an ecosystem that has to be paid for and make sure the concierge is delivering and all the other access. But when you think about it, when you think about getting access to over $1 million that has been paid so far, or that has been awarded so far to the MWR community of non-personal guarantee access to corporate credit, which means it gives you an ability to use other people's money to go build your dreams. The fees that we're charging, a one-time fee, by the way, that's already discounted for the members of MWR, isn't available anywhere else. There are programs that are being offered for less, meaning they offer less perks, less incentives, less access, and they're charging $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for access to this. We have it severely discounted to $29.95 because of the aggregate value of the community of MWR, right? Strength in numbers allows us to have scalable service. And we're able to do all of this for a price that is unavailable anywhere else. You can check online for people in this space, and they're charging $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 just for initial access for a linear approach. And we're giving the MWR community access for the entire approach, right? It's an entire ecosystem of service as well. So we're super excited about that. All of you have a back office. All of you have the ability to go into your back office, and it's really easy to access. It's mwrfundable360.com/youruniqueid. Set an appointment, get on the phones with one of our concierge team, speak. We offer this fluently in Spanish and obviously in English. Set the appointment, and we'll bring on some other languages if we need to as well. But have a conversation, find out about these other models in the ecosystem, find out that it's more than a linear transaction, find out that you have the ability to get access, education, information on so many things that can change your financial futures. You are at the right place at the right time with the right leadership and with the right company. Maximize your opportunity. Take advantage of everything you have, right? Understand that a few right decisions very quickly can make this a moot point, because you can easily make up any fees that you think you have you had to pay to get access. But more importantly, it'll give you an opportunity to leverage this and parlay this over and over and over and over again. I couldn't be more proud of the relationship we have with MWR. I couldn't be more impressed with the leadership. I couldn't be more excited and impressed with the opportunity that is being presented inside of MWR. What this company has been able to do collectively with the leadership, the group, the product providers, the experts, is second to none and unparalleled. You were called here for a reason. You have seen things here for a reason. Somebody cared enough about you to invite you to this opportunity. I'm encouraging you to do a couple of things. It costs you nothing to set an appointment, to have a conversation, to find out what all the options are. It costs you nothing to at least ask the questions that most people don't even have access to. It costs you nothing to find out if there's a good fit for you to be able to use leverage money, other people's money, finance money to move your family's dreams forward. Well, let me take that back. It doesn't cost you nothing. It'll cost you your dreams if you let these information or these moments slip by, because it doesn't hurt. There is zero cost involved in having that conversation. And if there's a good fit, and if the moment is right, and if you have all your questions answered and you feel there's momentum that you can take advantage of, then by all means, subscribe, take advantage, get into the MWR Fundable 360 ecosystem and take advantage of all of it. Start building those blocks to get access to the corporate credit. Start finding out about all the other leverage financial opportunities so that you can make decisions and empower yourself to act, feel, and believe that you belong at a whole different realm of where everybody else thinks that you might be. We're ready to work with you. Click on your unique links today. MWR Fundable 360/your unique link. Set an appointment and at least have a conversation with the team to find out what just talking about today, why you were on this call, and what next steps might be required as well. I'm very grateful for the partnership. I'm very grateful and humbled for the relationships. I learned so much every day from the leadership team of MWR. You guys have access to the best people in the world, the best leaders in the world, and the most committed to doing the right thing 100% of the time. That is not always the case in network marketing or in any business. We're fortunate to have that level of leadership here in MWR. Between Brian House, managing partner, and Donald Tolson, vice president Mike Randolph, these are the finest human beings I've ever had the ability or the privilege to be surrounded by, and we're excited for the next 10 years of our relationship. So my name's Butch with MWR Fundable 360. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share some thoughts with you this morning. I'm going to hand it back to my mentor, my legend, my leader, and my closest and dearest friend, the man that I aspire to be more like every single day, the way he is as a husband, the way he is as a father, the way he is as a leader, and the way he is as a man. Mr. Ndamo Tolson.
Butch, I thank you so much. It's such an honor to finally, after all of these years, we've known each other, we have cheered each other on. We've never been in business together or able to kind of put something where we could work together. So, but we've had that sort of relationship where you've been excited for me all these years with MWR, all the years and the unbelievable things that you've done for businesses and other people that I've seen and witnessed. It's exciting now to have this here, and I'm going to explain to everybody, Butch, why MWR Fundable 360 is here, and I'm going to show them something so
I love it,
so they
brother.
understand what's going on. So let me go in and share my screen, and then we'll make it happen. And I'll let you go in the background, Butch, for a moment. Thank you
For
so
sure.
much for all that you've done for to help help people collectively gain access to $1 million of corporate funding. That's unsecured corporate funding is absolutely amazing, and we just have scratched the surface. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is super, super exciting for what we have. And let me just help you understand why MWR Fundable 360 is in the MWR environment. It's because I've known Butch and I've seen what he's done with businesses and how he's helped them and things like that. But until we were able to put together not just the precious metals, because there was a point where the precious metals they were just kind of, you can buy them and just hold them and do what you've always been able to do. They were just a store of value. So over time they could go up in value, and that was it. You couldn't have any rental income from those. But when that all came together and the rental income that we could make and earn through the precious metals, when that came together with our precious metals division, we said, okay, wait a minute. But at the time, when it came together, there was a barrier to entry. You could only participate if you had 500 ounces of silver. And that runs about $25,000 or so. It could be approaching 30,000 the way silver is growing right now. So when that happened, we knew that 99.99999% of people would not be able to benefit from this once in a lifetime opportunity to truly have a seat at the same table that you see the Wells Fargos and the Bank of Americas and the owners of the Chase and the owners of U.S. Bank, all these major financial institutions, the way they've made money for decades. So this isn't just the wealthy elite. This is the 1% of the wealthy elite are sitting at this table. And we now knew we had an opportunity to let you sit at the same table they are and make money the way they do. That's what was so remarkably powerful. And so we said, wait a minute, if we know most people won't be able to just go and they have sit literally $25,000-$30,000 just sitting there waiting for them, and then we said, wait a minute, if we bring Butch and his great concierge team and what they're doing for people, and it matched up with MWR's our basic method of operation anyway, where the experts do not only the work for you, but they also, in his case, they do the work with you, because there's certain things financially that you have to do for yourself. But they're right there every step of the way to tell you what you need, how to do it, and then you go do it, because it's almost like taking a test. But better than having an open book test, you have someone sitting there knowing every answer, going, do this, do that, it's this, it's that, it's that. That's what's so powerful. So we were able to bring that in. So, and then because they had a minimum guarantee that they would get you in funding of $50,000, we knew that would allow people to obviously have more than enough to get started with MWR and the Fundable 360. So that's why we brought it in. Now, if we fast forward to today, we know that, oh, we were able to, and all I can do is just thank God for this, because that's the only way I see how this has all come together, really. He's ordered our steps, but literally we were able to bring this down to where you can get started with only 50 ounces instead of 500 ounces. Major, 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 major difference. And obviously it's a major happening, because when God shows up, he shows out. So that's what's happened. So what I want to do is I want to show you what the 50,000, because now instead of people saying this is kind of the only way I would be able to buy the precious metals, now they can use this in a few different ways. They can go, because trust me, myself, Brian House, our CEO, and Mike Randolph, our vice president, we all understand that even if you have the ability to get 50 ounces of silver or a little bit more than that, we're still using the MWR Fundable 360 because it allows you to accelerate all of the financial goals you want. And I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. And it also allows you to literally double dip. So if you want to double dip, and that's in my case, I already had the precious metals. I had a relationship with David, so I've had them, and I decided I'm going to use MWR Fundable 360 to double dip, to accelerate, which double dipping allows you to do. So let me show you how this all works. And what I'm going to do is just keep it really conservative. I'm going to go here and I'm going to put $50,000 right here. And for those of you that are in MWR right now, you all have access to what I'm about to show you. All you do is you go to MWR, makewealthreal.com/leverage/ whatever your site name is, but that's how you get here. You all have access to this. So I'm putting $50,000 in the initial funding area. And I just want to show you kind of what happens here. And I want to first bring this up here so you can see this is showing you with just $50,000. If that's all you did, that initial funding, and you stopped there, you would, over 5 years, you would have $156,000 worth of silver. That's a real asset that's producing a net passive income. Notice I said passive. What is passive income? That's the income that you get paid regardless if you get out of bed or not in the morning. It's an income that has your money working for you. So in other words, your money is making money for you. That's what I mean by passive income. And so a net passive income of almost $1,500 per month. We did that because we're using a precious metals annual appreciation of 13%. Now, let me tell you something right now. Many of you were on the Lunch and Learn on Tuesday, and you recognize that just in the last 120 days or so, the precious metals have gone up by 35%, which is an astronomical 3-digit number when it comes to the year. So that's happening. We're not saying that's going to continue to happen, but it's happening right now. So what we've done, in fact, if you look it up, you can Google it, you can do any kind of lookup, it'll say that precious metals over the next 5 years, they expect it to go up between 17 and 60% per year, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want you to think about an appreciating asset like that and you having the chance to benefit from that. What we did is we said, well, we're not going to go with projections. Let's just look what happened for the last 5 years. And for the last 5 years, the past 5 years, the average was 13%. So that's why we're using that. So now, so you saw this 156,000, you use the bank's money. So let me show you how we got here. Here's the $50,000 that you use from the bank's money. Your monthly rental return is $750 that you're going to get. Because you have to pay the bank back $333, interest only there. You have a net of over $400 per month. If you took that net profit, first, before I say that, you see the appreciation, that 13% I just talked to you about. So your 50,000 by the end of the year has grown to $56,500. And then if you take that $416.67 that you see here, if you take that and just say, you know what, I'm just going to keep buying precious metals with that. I don't really need that cash flow right now. Let me just buy the more precious metals with that. And if you did that, that's why your asset at the end of the year, you would have $61,500 worth of silver. Now, and the reason why we use silver, we were talking about precious metals, but silver is the most profitable one right now, which I just explained moments ago. Now, here's the $50,000 you have in funding, and that's all we've done. And that $50,000 balance is what looks at, and what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward 5 years. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, you see how the 61,500 and you start at year two, 61,500. So at the end of 5 years, look what it's grown to $122,000 at the start of the 5th year. You're having $1,800 a month in passive income. That's your rental return. When you pay the bank back the 333, then that's how your net is $1,498. You're looking at 138,000 is what your asset has grown to by just appreciation. And then if you're putting this for almost $1,500 a month back into buying more precious metals to kind of keep your money machine constantly going, because that's what's happening, then you're over $156,000. Okay. But you heard Butch say something, and you heard me say something when I introduced him, and you heard him talk about don't look at MWR Fundable 360 as transactional, because it's not transactional. This is an ongoing relationship that you could look up 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and still be within the ecosystem of MWR Fundable 360 and all the different options that are available to you, taking advantage of those and continuing to grow your ability to, in this example, talking about specifically the precious metals and being able to fund them on an ongoing annual basis. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say you went crazy. You have $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. Some of you can have $1 million plus because there is no limit. So you may have $1 million. You may have done the things that the concierge team was with you the whole time. One fee allows you to have them the whole time, and they're with you, and they may helped you get a serious 7 figures, maybe even 8 figures at some point of funding because you've done exactly what they've kind of suggested to do and to do these things, and you put that together. I'm just going to keep it really conservative and say all you did was add an additional $50,000 in funding every year. Okay, so you from the bank's money, you got the bank's money because all we're focusing on today is the bank's money because we just talked about it. You just heard from Butch Chalaya telling you all about it. Now look what your asset has grown to, $512,000. You've used $250,000 worth of funding over those 5 years because we're just talking about a 5-year projection, and this net income after you pay the bank back $4,400 plus a month. You realize that's over $53,000 a year? So I want you to just think about this for a moment. $53,000 a year in passive, ongoing income, right? Regardless if you get out of bed or not in the morning. This is your money working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never takes a day off, never calls in sick, never goes on vacation, just working for you. And we've kept it conservative because we've only used a 13% appreciation. If I move this, I want you to see something here. If I said, let's just take a look here. Let's say we're going to go from 13%. Let's say we go to 25%. Because right now, I told you 35% in just a matter of days. Look what it grew to. $720,000 in worth of silver. That's what your asset would be. And you have over $6,100 a month in net income. So I know 6 times 12 is what, 72? So that's over $72,000 a year that you're earning from your money making money for you. So you're not the only one working. Your money is going to work for you every single day because you use the bank's money to make it happen. You are operating the same way the wealthy elite operate. They don't just take a scratch a check for their own money. They use the bank's money to acquire assets that then pay for themselves and still give them a profit. That's exactly what you're doing. So what I'm showing you here, and why did this happen? Go from 500 to 720,000 because of the appreciation. And we've already said the average is going to be somewhere between 17 and 60%. Even if I was projecting, I'm still projecting low at 25%. But look, nothing has changed. Everything stays the same like you saw before. Let me show you again so you can just see how this all worked. At your $50,000, that's what you started with. You then had $750 a month is what your rental income, from your rental contracts, renting out your precious metals. This is what you're getting every month in rent, if you will. You're paying back the bank. and then you have over $400 every month in profit. But you said, you know what, I'm going to take that profit and buy more metals with it, just because it was sitting, the $50,000 was sitting in the depository in Texas, and it's just sitting there. Just the fact that you have them, and you had a 25% appreciation for the year, they went from 50,000 to 62,500. What did you do? Did you have to go work to make that happen? No. This is why you hear Butch say this is the most remarkable thing he's ever seen. This is why we're letting you know you're experiencing something that has never, ever happened for the general public. And because you are an MWR member, which gives you access to this, all of this, this is what you can benefit from. Now, when you take that $400 and you put that every month, your asset now grows to, you have $67,500 worth of silver at the end of the year. And the balance that you have with the bank is $50,000. If we fast forward and notice because you're getting this additional 50, when you take 50,000 and you add it to the 50,000 or to the 67,500, that is how we get to 117,500 year number 2. And here's what I'm going to do is just fast forward to year number 5 and go at the start of year number 5, you would have $517,000 worth of precious metals. That's what your precious metals would be valued at. You are getting, because they give you the rental contract based on the value. See, that's why the appreciation makes a whole lot of sense. And it's incredibly powerful for you. And again, another form of leverage, and leverage is everything. So this is what happens. You now have over $7,700 in income. You're paying the bank back $1,600. The reason why we use 8%, because generally you're going to be somewhere between 6 and 10%. So we just put it in the middle, 8%. So that's $1,600 that you're paying the bank back. You are right here at $6,100 a month in net income that's coming to you passively. Your appreciation went from 517 to 647. Look at that. Just because it's 25% appreciation, you literally have the appreciation caused you to grow more than $130,000, or almost 130, or not 130. Yeah, most, what is that? Yeah, $130,000 just in appreciation. That is a beautiful thing. When you add, if you said, I'm taking the $6,100 and I'm keeping my money machine just growing money, now you're over $720,000. That's what we have here. We show you here. And then the funding balance, because you've been taking $50,000 every year from the bank to do this, is $250,000. So some will say, what if I don't, I want to keep this money? Okay, you can keep the money. It'll just come to you and you have over $70,000. But the way it's growing, I like to let it keep going. Let it get to where it's paying me hundreds of thousands of dollars, $100,000 a month, or it's paying me $10,000, $20,000 a month. That's me personally. But if you said, I don't like paying the bank, I don't like owing the bank any money. Look at this. You could take $250,000 from your metals, sell $250,000 worth and pay the bank off. And now this net income, let me show you where we are, of $7,700 because you paid the bank off. It won't be $7,700 because you now dwindle this down to a little less than 500,000, but you still have your net income and you were not paying the bank back. So you could do that. You could choose to do that. But I know myself and our CEO, Brian House, our VP, Mr. Mike Randolph, that you heard from at the very beginning of this, that started and set us all up. We all are keeping the money machine going. I'm going to pay the bank their interest. That's what they want. And I'm just going to keep it going because it's making money for me that I do not have to go do anything to make that money. I didn't have to learn a new skill. I didn't have to deal with people or attitudes. I didn't have to wonder if you're gonna keep making me payments. I didn't have to wonder about any of that, because the reason why I'm getting the payments is because this 115-year-old asset management company that has global reach, that they are literally saying, we want to add these precious metals that you, myself personally, now watch this, this is why having a membership is a privilege, because it gives you this access. Individually, none of us could do this. That's why we've never been able to participate and sit at the table that I told you about, where the Wells Fargos and the Bank of Americas and the Chase and the all the other wealthy elite, those institutions that they put together to be able to make money on precious metals every month. This is why that table only has those kinds of institutions sitting there and the owners of those institutions. You get to sit there because you have a membership with MWR, and that membership gave you access to be able to buy the precious metals the way we talked about it. Now, with that access, watch this. Do you realize that because collectively, that's what makes us so strong collectively? That's why we're able to do what we do collectively. That's why you have access to sit at the table. So now, for the first time in history, you get to sit at the same table, and I plan to operate the same way they do. I'm at the same table watching how they do it. So, yes, I'm taking my profits every month, and I'm just going to continue to buy more and more precious metals, because it allows me to buy more and more of an asset, and it lets it grow on its own without me having to do anything for it. And then, it keeps making the money grow, and especially when I'm getting appreciation that could go through the roof at 16, 17 to 60%. What if it just landed on 60%? Just every year, you were like, it keeps hitting 60%. That would change. It's changing my life. I'll just say that changed my life, and I think it has the opportunity to change yours. So here's what I want you to do: get back. We have come to the end. I think you've seen everything, and we'll talk about the other. You can see here. I'll also give you a little sneak peek. There's some other leverages. This is the precious metals. We didn't even talk about that. We just talked about the bank's money buying them, but there's other leverages. You heard Blitz talk about the way you can build a team here. Ooh, we'll talk to you about that on another time. But I just want you to know you are in the right place at absolutely the right time with the right people, which is a lot of times the critical component of that. And I will tell you, you want to go do what you need to do. Build this like your hair is on fire, because this is so unique. We're in a blue ocean, okay? A blue ocean, which means the red ocean is where all the sharks all kind of competition and everybody's eating each other up until there's blood in the water, there's sharks everywhere, that kind of thing. A blue ocean is where it's never been done before. Amazon was in a blue ocean, never been done before, where they don't sell anything, but they don't manufacture anything, but they sell everything. That was a blue ocean strategy, and look what's happened. Everybody knows it. There was a time where you had never heard of Amazon. There was a time you had never heard of Amazon. But they were there behind the scenes, kind of trying to make it all happen, put it together, and then it blew up. And what made it really blow up was the pandemic. While other businesses struggled, they went through the roof. There was a time on the platform we're on that you had never heard of Zoom, ever heard of it. And it's been years. It was kind of going along. What happened? The pandemic came, and all of a sudden, Zoom went through the roof. And now we're all use a platform. You say Zoom, everybody understands what it is and what you mean by having a Zoom meeting. So I just want you to understand, you are at literally the beginning of what you're going to see. And remember, I talked about a blue ocean. Does that mean other people can come over and compete with the blue ocean? Yeah, they could come over and try to compete and turn it into a red ocean. But let me tell you this, MWR has a blue ocean where they put a whole moat around it. And what I mean by that is because this will never, ever be duplicated. It can't. It will never be duplicated, because you have to be able to have access to the precious metals and purchase them and be able to get the rental contracts. That is exclusive to MWR. It will always be exclusive to MWR. So you're talking about a business model that is never, ever going to be duplicated. So our blue ocean will always stay blue because we have a moat around it. Anybody that tries to come, they go, oh, I can't do anything. So you have everything you need to keep it away. And you get to be at the beginning of experiencing that with an 8-year-old like new company. I don't know who's prayed for you or how you prayed, but I do know this: an answer to a prayer is looking you right in the face. So get with a person, and whoever, if you're here for the first time and someone told you about this and you're just looking at this for the first time, you need to get back with the person that invited you, because the only way you get access is you have to be invited, because it's an invitation only exclusive membership. So you have to be invited. So you need to get back with the person that invited you, give them a major hug because they hooked you up big time. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. If you're in the Central time zone, we didn't forget about you in the middle, 11 a.m. Central. We are going to do an overall opportunity presentation. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to show you a simple system of how you can tell people about this awesome environment, an awesome opportunity that exists for you and the people that you want to invite. Remember, if you don't like them, if they're not good people and you don't want to invite them here, they won't get here because it's invitation only. So someone thought a lot of you. So you can come bring them on Saturday and literally use another form of leverage, because you won't have to say a word. They will understand, and you will even have a better understanding if you're brand new here looking at this for the first time. Understand the whole overall concept and what MWR and its membership has to offer you. You'll be able to see it. Reason why I said there's a system, because we're going to show you this system where all you have to do is push play. Push play, and it's going to all unfold for you. And I'm telling you, when we break it down and you'll get to see what these mean, it's going to blow your mind. So be there Saturday, 12 noon, at our virtual business opportunity. We call them VBOs, at our virtual business opportunity meeting. And you are going to be, I'm telling you, super, super excited, understand what's going on. And if you're smart, let me talk to the smart people. So if you're not smart, you can go on and jump off now. But if you're smart, you want to bring some other folks, invite as many of the folks as you can to Saturday, and they're going to see something that literally they cannot see anywhere else. They're going to say, you know what? I have been waiting for something real. And one of the things I love about our name, Make Wealth Real, because that's exactly what we do. And I'm going to show you that on Saturday. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure you lock in Saturday again, 12 noon Eastern time, Central time, 11 a.m., Pacific time, 9 a.m. So with that being said, everyone, have a great, great afternoon. We are at the conclusion of our Lunch and Learn. Thank you so much for, first of all, Vice President Mike Randolph getting us started in a great, great way. And then I can't even thank you enough, Mr. Bush Chalaya, for all that you do and what you've done, and have literally in 6 months. You told me what was going to happen, but to already have $1 million out in funding, unsecured funding to our members, is powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a process. So you want to get started with that process ASAP, so you can go and use the bank's money to help make you more money. All right. Have a great evening, or afternoon, everyone. Thank you.